Yeah. Could have been. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Oh, Nertz is dead. There you go. Vitality fans should be happy with that one. So that lurking element has been removed here early. Apex will stomach another opening death. And, oh, Madden springs to life here over towards A. Jousting with 3 removed as well. Getting weird now.
Oh, very weird. This is uncomfortable. Majesty does do damage. Sunpious quick double. Has to be him.
But they know the rifle was here as well. I remember Snappy, by the good graces of Apex, has been allowed to live here. And on the lowest of HPs, 19. So I think Snappy's going to go on work, as these are probably 2 of the more vocal members within this roster. We know Sunpious back from the Movistar Riders days definitely had something to say as the primary AWPer. You like to have him loud, as Snappy's going to go walkabout here, starting to search in towards the empty bomb site. Now he's actually gone a very long way, and you can see this here. He's not being diligent on the clears. He's actually...
Do you think he dumps his smoke and hopes it gives a space for Sunpious, or do you just summon him to B? Oh, he does.
He should just summon him to B here. Sunpious should just come over.
Understandably cautious in the uncertainty, but does need to get a bit of a wriggle on now. 19 seconds. He's going to be fine to get the bomb site. Dupree already delivered with 1.
It's going to be very late.
Hang on, Snappy just got thrown the bomb. There's no time for this. Sunpious. You might...
That's the plan. That's the plan now.
Get it. Okay, 1-on-1. It's a battle of wits, and already a triple from the Spaniard. Can he find one more to save him from a red face? Vitality with only the 1 rifle in play. No need to rush. Kit present. Smoke as well, and just plays the angle. Sunpious. He delivers in buckets and spades for Ence.
That would have looked really bad. He's Snappy having a laugh there in the midst of all that.
Yeah, that
throwing me the bomb on the fade of the smoke. Like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? And look at this. This is how they found the opening pick. So creative right there with the saved rifle. Banger out of Magisk here to make it interesting. The double up of Sunpious essentially saves the day. It's Snappy's handiwork finding the room, and Sunpious makes it shine for Ence. And that was the round they worked so hard for. That's when they had Vitality broken. So if they didn't convert that one, Tilt would have been in the conversation. As they do make it a 1-round game. Now we've got a match. It was a 5-0 start. Ence have definitely signaled the fire.
And you heard it from Sunpious when we did have that listening. Just 1 round at a time. 1 round at a time. And, well, it's 4 consecutive. Here he comes through mid. An interesting battle. Magisk surely not brave enough to go straight back in and maintains control. Makes it clear. Nate doesn't do too much.
See, it's not a one-dimensional T-half, though, from Ence. So this is something where I think they respect that A-ramp hold of Vitality a whole lot more than they did of the Ninjas, right? So you can see here they're having to use middle, they're having to use B. They're being a lot trickier with it. So this is what you'd hope when you watch a game of Vertigo, as opposed to just that A-ramp simulator. Spinks, the timing, walks in, only gets 1.
That's going to put Dupree on notice. You can see that smoke will delay. Magisk is there, so you got this Danish duo. Look at Madden, completely disrespecting. Over the boost, over the smoke.
He'd love a flash, wouldn't he?
He would beg for one. And Snappy's the one to provide it. Wants to make sure it's perfect for the pop. Dupree's not going to be flashed by that. Oh, and what a shot onto Magisk. Madden, he's gotten him in. Dupree trying to escort them out. Not easy fight, and Nertz elevated does deliver. Apex, he's not going to do too much with that HE. Fumbles it, quick switch, still nades damage onto Sunpious. Softened up for Zywoo. Coming stairs, and well, Snappy well aware.
Yeah, good cognizance there from Snappy. Nobody was addressing the flank, and then he took off and dealt with it just in the right time. Crossing towards the right-hand side of that stairs, the way back in for Zywoo becomes infinitely more difficult. And actually not opting for the save, are they? So a round where Vitality considered their chances. Max loss bonus into the next. They'd save that gun. Maybe the buy would have been looking at an awful lot better, as Apex will find Snappy, maybe even an AK. It was labored. Still the kill. All right.
That's what's important.
As long as he gets it.
Yeah, just sometimes it's never good when I see a bit of myself in a player.
But yeah, well, we'll give Apex the good graces. We're in his home country here. We'll be extra polite to Mr. Dan Madeskler.
As we should be, considering just how high flying Vitality are. You know, you can, I'm sure, point fingers and be like that Nelson kid from Simpsons, haha. But as we all learn, as in that Nelson story arc, it's all about what's happening at home.
Yeah.
And right now, the Vitality family, they're dominating. 7-match win streak, winning a tourney ahead of the major on home soil. I know it's air quotes, hold on, bear with me. But the only French representation is in Vitality.
Yeah.
ZywOo's face was on the bloody Arc de Triomphe, you know, the projection of his pickup. There is a lot at stake for them in terms of wanting to be able to get to that Accor arena. I mean, to be able to get French fans performing in front of them in your last hurrah for Global Offensive, I completely understand why there is impossible hunger inside of the Vitality roster right now.
And a win right here would put them in the 2-0 bucket, right? Meaning it would just be one best of 3 away from doing exactly that. They are able to get this purchase together. Famous out for Magisk, everybody else with the rifles of choice. Dihar with a slow start to the game, but Dihar is one of these players I think is very plucky. I love watching a bit of Dihar. He can have a lot of impact in a game, so wait till he gets started. As they look to explode on towards B again. And it's it's a complete retake setup here. So they're conceding the site. They've opted for that 4-man gamble towards A to try and shut out any space to be taken. They've given up B completely here. And if they don't find anything shortly, it might even be one of these unicorn rounds. A bit of a 5-on-5 save here. Yep, there you have it. It's called off immediately. Now, with the spree of rounds that's available, I wonder if Snappy will call a soldier or two into a hunt here. Because it will actually hemorrhage them quite a bit if they can take away 2 to 3 guns.
Now, with this being the major, Chad, we tend to draw a newer viewer than some of our other tournaments. Could you explain why a unicorn round is an occasional occurrence in Counter-Strike?
There's nothing rarer than a unicorn, Mr. Richardson. So in a matchup like this, to see teams go for a save 5-on-5 with guns, it's very, very unusual here. Nobody going down. I don't even think there's really any damage to be accounted for here. Dihar, sure, he lost 3 points of health before the bomb had gone off, and that was it. So, yeah, that is a rarity. You don't often see 10 players still alive.
It's just not in their financial interests. The whole abacus system, there is an economy of Counter-Strike that certainly is a massive part of making choices such as taking engagements, taking retakes, and by gambling for A, not in their best interest to try and go through all of that uncertainty with such high risk.
And the financial decision there is set them up for the next round. So if they do lose this round, they can take a few more risks now and go for a few more fights. That residual cash means they will be able to buy next round. Spinks, speaking of risks, wants to take a fight against Nerds. We've spoken about that head-to-head.
Yeah, and he actually ducked his head under the Jenny. I think Spinks does not receive any information off the back of that. As we see Dupree a little more forward on his B-hold this time. It's not an enviable task. He's so alone. And I'm scared for him. Does get the smoke, dumping nades, flashes in his face, and it's Snappy. Head-to-head, Dane-on-Dane action. And it's Snappy to bring the pain. Across, good nade damage.
Melting.
Apex, yeah. Spinks combines as well as they're propelled into his spray. A double from Spinks, but it's some pious to keep a lid on it. That 4v2, now 3v1, and ZywOo. He should have Nerds on the next clear. Didn't spot him. Will spot him. Oh, hold on. Misinformation. ZywOo rarely gonna... There you go. There you go. 4x3.
Oh, not this again.
4x3 in the modern day.
But they won't expect this long flank, right? Wait, actually...
They have no idea.
But
like,
no, Magisk is looking at it. Isn't he?
No.
Yeah, so they're aware.
Oh my God.
They are now.
Now they do. Okay, 40
He won't expect ZywOo middle, right?
Well, after the way in which that went down, no way, Jose. Everything's fine. It all washes out nicely. And 4x3 ratio, popular with the pros, but you do limit your screen and you do see less.
Yeah, that could have gone much worse, couldn't it? So only one death, but in that moment, they just disappeared. It felt like Ence had all the real estate and everybody just
went,
is
from his POV. There, yeah, he's crossing, he's crossing, he's crossed. He's crossed. Wow, great work on the replay, gang. Perfection.
Well, gets him in the end, doesn't he? So 6-6, they'll eventually break the spree of Ence, and we've tied things up. And if you want to have your vote, Blast.tv, who do you want them to interview on the overtime show? Well, this one is going to go quite quickly over towards the A ramp. So back to the normality, those 4-man leans from Vitality. There were good calls in previous rounds. This time, that's not how they start, but it is how they look to defend as Spinks quietly cheats over. Harassment of Util towards the ramp.
Whoa,
so much space. They're not looking. They're not looking.
The pace on this is enormous. Still can't finish his meal. Apex lucky to have gotten away with that one. Gets himself a big frag, a huge one, as they look to clear ramp.
Probably the most important of the 5 he has so far.
Hold on. Madden, he's causing the trouble. Does get caught. D has the one to try and get the double, and does. limited options now. You know it's Dupree. Surely this just means Apex,
who Snappy knows should be low.
right?
And now it's just about the finish here. So aware that the flank is a possibility.
It's an eventuality. Apex makes it clear he's still hanging around the site, smoke down, and I guess his Ence can wait it out if they were really fearful for their lives.
Yeah, that divider smoke, though, that Apex thrown is telling that there is a player like short side. And Dupree's flank has actually been bought time by that, so 35.
There's a shot, there's a real opportunity into Diha. Delivers. Apex, he has done well to delay.
They have to fight him.
Or he could catch another. Apex going for the finish. Nuts, however, 20 seconds. If he can find Apex, it's game on. 25 HP. He can go B. Okay, Dupree in hot pursuit. And he has the need for speed as he does have to race Nerds to this B bomb site. A couple of seconds to spare as he punches in the code. And that nade is right on the money and a raised eyebrow indeed. Dupree, no bullets required in the 1v1.
I didn't see if Dupree had already had that HE or if he picked it up throughout that journey, because he went where all the corpses were littered over towards that A site, so maybe picking up utility on the way.
A round-winning piece
the
of utility.
extinguish so he could apply more pressure as well. Apex, a massive opener right there onto Snappy. Yeah, he's going to be very frustrated because he played a timing right there. Took that classic in-game leader gamble. This was great. They knew that Apex was backside because he was spamming away, and actually running into the nade was Nerds.
Huge.
And they like that one. They like how that one tastes. Well, second timeout for Ence has been forced. It saw the last piece of Finnish representation over there in the Ence camp. It has something to say.
And you were talking about clutches. I guess we can put that one in the vitality column. Thank you, Dupree.
Yeah, so
We'll keep tabs on that.
1vx situations with the pistol rounds in best of ones, as people may have caught with the conversation last week during the challenger stage. Well, I guess it technically is still this week. It's only Saturday.
It's a good chunk of damage.
Okay, so he's been getting the nades in the right places, Apex. Maybe not the crosshair every time.
That puts his ADR right there on par with Dupree. You know, and they've got a 3-kill discrepancy between the two of them, so that's solid nades, solid work, and a great contributions from Apex to put 7 on the board as well. ZywOo goes looking, spots out, Snappy on his adventure, this time not so lucky on the damage. Look at the tiny slither of vision he's working with there.
This looks like it's just going to be A here, because the mid lurk and the B lurk, they don't exist. Everybody from Ence is here.
Yeah, they're making no secret of that. ZywOo opts to drop the smoke. Immediate attention drawn to this crane and ramp fight.
It might be one of these where they do the sandbag molly and explode here.
Oh, it's a good off angle from Magis. You know your crosshair's not going to be there as you round the corner. Oh, it's safe from the flash. He still doesn't get one. Sun Pious on the rifle. A recurring theme in the feed as more needed. Apex and ZywOo both down to the spray. Diha, he delivers. 2 versus 3. They need to plant that bomb, but there's no rush. Spinks and Dupree are here. And the nade looks like it's good, but not quite enough. 6 HPs hanging on by a thread. Great angle. Oh, doesn't close. Diha safe behind the sandbags now. I think they've got a good idea that Nerds might still be lingering around close. Retake smoke. They have the kid on Dupree. Nerds hiding in that close side. Actually going to smoke short as well. This is pretty good. But yeah, the angle is brutal. Spink should have him. But still, 2 to find. Not favorable whatsoever. Does scoop up the kit. Does he go for it? Opts not to. Hoping Diha's going to be panicking. Snappy to stop the round ramp side. They're both there. And Snappy down. Doesn't have the time and doesn't have the health as it goes to 0 at Diha's hand. 7 to 7. These teams are impossible to separate, and it's been happening in bursts. Like, we started off with what? Was it 5?
5 in a row, 6 in a row, and now we're a bit more back and forth as we get into the dying stages. I love this. Another good multi-kill from Diha. This one actually finding the impact for the round conversion. And Snappy, it looked like he had something to say. Yeah. Yeah, has something to say. So this is the history, right? Spinks left Ence high and dry. Snappy has more than something to say about that. Calling him a stats player. You want to win the round? Or you just want to get these kills? He's going to make sure he remembers where he came from.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, yeah, how does that not light a bit more of a fire inside of you, Snappy? He is delivering on an individual level. is sick, but it's an opener. Zaiwu, however, still lays down the law, and he's going to stick around for more. He re-smokes. How are they not in fear at this point? You don't want to advance through that. A gray screen against the Wu. Bomb loose. Zaiwu has been spotted, tagged down. That's a big one. They would have been aware. And looking for the finish as he does get away. How has he gotten away? Magisk has finally been met by some resistance. It's Snappy that puts him down. But the damage dealt. Snappy and Nerds trying to find a way back in.
dupree's flank, got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, he's actually activated quite quickly. I mean,
Playing
right now...
to contain, I respect this, right? Playing to contain right here, so there's no way that Ence can drop back here. They will have to commit towards the site. There's plenty of util to harass the plant as well on the likes of Spink. So he has a molly and a HE. So as soon as they tap that bomb, you might see him pull out the nade, pull out the molly, stall this out. He needs to be quick about it. Snappy's pinning it in now, and that might be good enough. Just shy. The timing there. Nerds, 1 on 3.
Can he find another clutch? You can see he's looking for dupreeh. Oh, spotted. Alive and kicking. dupreeh beheaded, and problems now for the Wu. Sure, a double, but this is the frag he needs. This is the frag he demands, and Nerds isn't going to give him an inch. Molly rammed, weird one, forces the smoke. That will draw attention. Zaiwu still not on the bomb. Nerds doesn't have to give him a thing. This clutch is falling into place beautifully for Nerds. Looking to win out the half. Up against Zaiwu, chasing through, gets away from the frag. It's stylish as well. 8-7. Ence have got to be happy with that one. They started down in the dump 0-5, and they win out the half.
Dead. Behind. One more. What's up, do it. He was afraid of short.
Nice. Landing.
I play next time.
In the smoke, mid side.
Wait, I play next time. He can't.
He's
Let's
pushing.
Go to lobby. Lobby. Running.
Let's go.
He's low HP. Jag vill smoke to extinguish.
Och han höjt
Jag
sig.
vill inte as well, Pierre. Fast HE. Nice! Let's go!
Oh, bro, I gave my best to not
Yeah,
to
it was
stay
perfect.
alive.
It was perfect. It was only because of the smoke.
He did do his best to stay alive. Apex very happy with that one, but so should Nerds. You can see he's doing the dance, and he's been doing it in the server as well, Chad. This is a performance to be proud of, and it's just the first half of play.
Yeah, especially when Snappy's yelling at the old Israeli player from the Ence days. This is the replacement, and I think the in-game leader is very happy with a clutch like that, just outplaying some absolute vets right here in the best in the game right now. So a massive round from Nerds to give them a one-round lead going into that halftime break.
And you can't even fault them. I mean, how many people, I could probably count them on one hand, thought, oh, they've lost Spinks, they'll replace him with an equally as capable player.
Well, that's the thing. Immediately they didn't.
No.
Immediately it was Volder and things weren't working so
That's
well.
true.
They had to find Nerds, this gem, another one. From Israel, you've got a bunch of Exertion, Flame, Spinks.
Make
and
him
now
mum proud.
Nerds.
Make him mum proud today. That's a great performance. What a recovered half. A competitive second, though, certainly scoreline-wise. Let's see if they can run with that momentum.
They got 4 here over towards A for the defense to Ence. This is to split the pistols.
Yeah, you can see the bookmakers have no idea. Dead even. That is an opening for Spinks. So, the former Ence star is the one to retrieve a frag and some dual Berettas for good measure.
Yeah, very desperate for info, wasn't Madden there. So that flash, they thought they had to find something off that $200 investment, and they found an awful lot now. You know, there's at least 2. Ooh, and make it 3 now. At least they'll draw 1 back.
Yes, already favoring Vitality heavily is Dupree, the heavy hitter in the pistol.
You remember that Cloud9 game we referenced? This
was
is
this
where,
side.
Exactly, and that ramp.
Yes.
That pesky little ramp. He was just such a nuisance for Cloud9.
I've never seen a player just look more confident in every duel they take.
So zoned in.
It was, yeah, completely in a different flow state.
And we already thought things were bad for Cloud9 at that point, you know, not qualifying through the RMRs.
But you thought there was a consolation on its
Yeah,
way. You
maybe,
did.
just maybe.
Maybe.
And Vitality had other plans, didn't they? They were the ones that wanted to lift that trophy.
And of course, it's all about framing. You know, there was part of me that was a little concerned, like, oh, are you peaking now?
Too early.
You know, Paris is just around the corner. But it doesn't seem as if they've let off the gas whatsoever. There is just such a unified sense around Vitality. This blend of French and Danish Counter-Strike, they're not shy of saying it's not natural. They have 2 very different ways of seeing the game.
Yeah, in the beginning, the entire project, I think they thought they could get it done differently, right? It's been a work in progress, as a lot of things are. As Pius looking to farm up a few. Let's make it 4, as I always says no. If he had the Julies, some armor, and those kills, this next round 4 spy from Ence could have been very tidy looking. But still some good damage from some Pius right there. But they're going to have to do this the difficult way, Ence, losing both pistols. Sure, those clutches have been nice, but Vitality have won a couple as well. So the difference maker at the moment is these starter rounds. And they will be able to purchase at least 1 FAMAS here. A couple of MP9s, some Deagles, a few smokes dotted across this purchase. Some Pius holding onto some residual cash so he can bring out his favorite AWP in that first gun round. But a bit towards B is Dupree, the man to take the glance.
Oh, yes, Stiha double. And that, considering the state of play, is more than you could have asked of him. Now, Nerds is the one that leaves empty-handed. He was supposed to be swinging off of that contact, but very good catch. Magisk and Saiwu have managed to keep us in that 3-on-3. Now, it should be Vitality, admittedly, by these AKs in play.
But realistically, when you have trades go down like that so early, this just becomes a 3-on-3 with the whole map. Because there's no way that Ence would full rotate. They weren't committed to the site. It was just B lobby. So they can't know that it is going to be the B finish. They still have to stay in. Because there's a 1-1-1. So quite the spread of the defense is the opposite for Vitality. The pack mentality being provided here.
This is very proactive from Snappy. I mean, you know, there is a lot of answers with every second that passes.
It's a huge push.
To do so early.
Unless they go mid to A.
That's also a possibility. Oh, and it's exactly what they're looking for. Madden to investigate. Apex just turned away. And it's a free headshot to the back of the skull.
I would love.
Shatters the cranium of Mr. Madisclair. A quick smart into the A side. Of course, cautious. Saiwu holding CT there, ready for this rechase.
Might get both of them in the back. Wait.
What's going on? They hear them, and they come to fight them. They'd rather not get answers at A. Sun Pius, silent on the dismount, so his forward position could catch Zyu off guard. He's very diligent. Bait and switch. Spinks into B. How have Vitality seen and solved this riddle?
Apparently, Zywo's brought Spinks into the Matrix with him. What a shot on the Snappy to salvage that. That looked like it was done. It looked like it was down the river without the paddle. But the sound cues baiting them into those over-rotations. Snappy wasn't even a part of it, probably questioning how did that happen? But just audio alone, it tricked Ence. Oh, and the frustration, you're feeling that.
No doubt, no doubt.
Because you're not doubting. Because you saw from Madden's POV, he spotted them going A. Why would they not? You think, why are they not going A? Outplayed.
Yeah, they really dug themselves out of trouble. That 3v3, it felt like Ence had done enough with Snappy's push, but here we go again. Zyu straight away throws out the smoke to peek and fight around, tries to catch anyone investigating. And he is one of those players that has just mastered those gaps through the tarpaulin, the angles of which you can get the information.
I just love that last round.
Yeah, that was cool.
And they didn't, the two players, neither got nervous. If one of them was like an Apex or a Snappy, right? Well, I guess it would be Apex being the Vitality side of the server. Maybe start running, you know, we got this space, let's go, let's punish the gap. But it's like, no, this is what they think we're doing. Let them come to us. We got the weapons. We think we're better
And we got
individually.
time.
And look, I think those are the best two players in the server. You can understand why they've got that thought as
Hello.
Apex, the opening offering. This
Gets
time
it done.
takes one.
Gets it done. And it looks like Madden should have the opportunity with that body shot, but Apex has gone wide. He's gone way back. And it's Zyu instead. You're faced with trouble. You're faced with hot lead to the head. A nice one from Dupree onto Sun Pius. And Diha just scorched all the way down to 4. And a perfect finish. Look at that. Everyone alive. Vitality going through the motions. Get that full 3-0 start. And as you'd highlighted, of course, their starts, if you add up that 5-round launch and the 3 rounds here, that's 8 off of the rip of these pistols they've won.
Yeah. This is
In case you can't add 5 plus 3, but I don't know why I'm doing that for you. But yes, it is certainly a statement of where a lot of Vitality's rounds have been coming from. Let's see what happens when the guns are out.
Well, I'm taking a look at Samparis' spawn here with the AWP. Has a really good A ramp spawn, so we can go and take that crane pick or over towards yellow, one of the two, depends on how they want to apply this. But there's 2 Mac 10s out for Vitality, and they want to surge with those over towards B. But that's the shot that Samparis wanted to hit. So spawn used perfectly, but it feels now Vitality might be forced into this Hail Mary B execute. Stalled out utility from Diha. Because Samparis only spotted Zyu there, didn't see anything else, didn't hear anything else. There's no more harassment utility. It's awfully quiet.
Very powerful position. You can see Diha playing in. Most Biancas will dance around the double. And actually, yeah, safe from that initial nades. It's very clear they're coming his way. Diha.
Still on his own.
Yeah, Madden's arriving. And they're stampeding. Madden does manage to contribute nicely, and Diha as well will lay down the law. 1.5. Spinks is a ring-in. Nadal finish. 9. Immediately into the guns. Ence come alive.
It takes the potency out when Samparis finds that opening kill on Zyu. If Zyu can establish some standard ramp control and just be yellow and be annoying, he doesn't have to even take a duel or win it, just has to make sure they're not forward on the ramp, then there's so much less information available for Ence. So it's a massive opening pick, and you can see it here. This is an AWPer using his spawn and hitting a banger over shot onto Zyu, and this is Zyu about to cop it in the face, so even ready for that crane peak. And that's the cheers that you want to be seeing from Samparis there.
Yeah, the ups and the downs.
Zyu, well, he wants to try his AWP head-to-head here, so brought it out to task with him.
And there's another in the head-to-head. Sun Pius lays Zyu to rest. Back to back, can Apex recover? A great opportunity and a headshot to boot. Snappy feels the wrath of Apex, and they completely evaporate out of the ramp side. It's Zyu. Oh, sorry, Spinks, do excuse me. He tried his luck in that mid-fight. Now that advantage maintained for Ence.
Look how quick Nerds moved. Gets the mid-kill on the lurk, understands that Spinks, rotates over, helps Diha on the side. Samparis drops back. Oh, sorry, Samparis is still aggressive. It's Madden who dropped back to cover the mid-gap. And here they come into the stack.
Oh, great shot out of Dupree. Keeps it interesting for a moment. It's Diha as well. And this is the beauty of Ence. Every single player can rack you up a double when you demand it.
Check out this opening kill from Samparis again, though. I wonder if Ence intentionally threw the smoke for ramp to have a bigger gap than usual. because the gap that he finds the pick through here, it was wider towards the ramp than you would normally see. So you check this out, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just found him as well, and blind. So everything there looked perfect to look for that fight.
True.
How well Snappy has drilled in these openings here, but again, I just love that rotation from Nerds, and they've broken them once more. So good starts, yeah, but is that enough of vitality to be able to close here? Well, we're all tied up with Ence looking likely to be the first to reach 11.
Well, yeah, I mean, when it comes to gun rounds, if Sampaius is going to be taking down ZywOo in both of them, if that's a recurring theme, we are going to be on for a very impressive win. Don't forget, no pistols and 10-10.
Yeah, exactly. And ZywOo, it's not like he's, been caught sleeping throughout this match. He's got 24 kills to his name. So he's finding his contributions, but if you can keep him quiet in environments like that, you're on your way to a victory, are you, Ence?
Oh, Ence are really, I think they're growing in everyone's estimations.
Snappy's got this fire about him, right? It's almost like this, are people still underrating us?
Right.
And it feels like that heat, I can feel it like radiating from his person.
100%.
They've done that incorrectly, lads. Oh, I guess they were just looking. All right, fair enough. I was going to say, they've done it incorrectly in the sense that when you do this, the back guy needs to stand up, not crouch. But if they were just looking for the wood, then he was looking for little domes.
Well, D has put ZywOo back down. Another opening death for him. That's 3 now in those back-to-back rounds. Not talking totals.
The total you don't want to talk about.
Okay, there's some bias onto Dupree, and all of this falling nicely into place. It's just the clock on Magisk. He does manage to put his crosshair in the right place.
Yeah, he's involved in an awful lot of opening exchanges in the Apex, but that was the case before he was an in-game leader. And now in the current meta of in-game leaders, you see it more and more. Look at your Arts, your Nafanis, right? You see it with Carragher making those Hail Mary plays as well. Booksy ladding to get in early.
That's, that's 3 of ZywOo, like 3 ZywOo opening deaths back to back to back. That's all of his 3.
Yeah. So otherwise, he was doing pretty good.
Yeah, up until now. Up until Ence have turned up the heat to 11. Don't know what kind of oven they're using, but they are cooking.
No AWP out here for ZywOo, so just going to try and get things done with the rifle. You'd be really worried about Sampaius, wouldn't you? But it's somewhere else right now. Not over towards A at all.
Dynamic as hell.
He just set up Nerds for this mid push. Sampaius has just been overwatched so that Nerds could go all the way up and towards ladder, and apparently doesn't want to continue down that ladder. So they might need to try and bolster Madden's support network here. Oh!
Huh?
Just avoids all of that.
He is. Perhaps he's going to be overlooked.
Yeah, you would be now.
You'd expect. This is brilliant. I mean, in terms of holding on, play.
Oh, come on! Don't do him like that.
I mean, they used every trick in the book. 3 nades, a Molotov, and a ZywOo. But they get him down. That's an opening. Can they build a round out of this? Vitality looking to prove they can do it with the guns. They're loud about this. Magisk has joined the pie. This is the 4-5-man unit. Make it 4. Nuts. Nades down Dupree. Has to be someone to crack open this site. It looks like it's ZywOo that wants to punch a ticket or 2. And indeed, through the smoke, they're all here. Ence are so reactive. And another one. Nerds has got a missed spray. Magisk only the 1. And Ence looks so good right now.
Damn, I love that play from Snappy as well. Drawing the crosshair, taking the risk for his team, setting the rest of them up. I'll go wide, you guys step out. In fact, Madden survives that artillery onslaught.
And the molly.
Yeah, he did an awful lot there to survive, didn't he? But Nerd shows, hey, I can throw nades too. Dunks one down the back pocket of Dupree there and does so much more work. Up and over the site, Diha joins that path that he's laid on out, and they take all the fights, and they're getting fired up now. And it's just 4 rounds away from being in that 2-0 bucket in the Legend stage. 1 best of 3 away from the playoffs.
Oh, you can say that one again. Big ramifications to this best of 1. With 2 titans in this Legend stage, Ence really are demanding respect from the very best. In a best of 1, you get both pistols, and Apex has found a real screamer there. Takes down Snappy with nothing more than a P250. Sure, he's got some Kevlar. Got that one off the rack, and he's looking to find a little more damage as well. Madden goes looking. He knows it's that P250, but he hasn't heard or seen anything else.
But look at the read here out of Ence, right? They already have...
Oh, they had 2. Now 1. And another Deagle headshot could have changed that, but Nerds does manage to convert. Some Pyres with his AWP as well, ready to catch on that gap. A bomb plant's great. A round unlikely, but Vitality are in, and Nertz is escorted out. Apex runs him down. Oh, Madden gets another buy one, get one free. And the third as well, it falls into place. Can Dupree really?
3 bullets, has to reload.
Hit it, one shot missed, and now should be Madden. Dupree saves it, and Vitality will do it on the pistols. We were just talking about how their inability to find these gun rounds, well, this is a bit of a discrepancy. Ence have let one slip.
Look at this. That was the way back in. They had 2 players
This
on the
as well.
side. It was just ahead of the smoke that was thrown. Apex with a lot of impact in this round, and Dupree has to hit it. Has to hit it. No other way around it, and finishes it off. And that should have been 13 in the books. That one there might be unforgivable for Ence if they lose this map right now.
The relief you saw immediately going into motivation. He wants to get the boys fired up, and now Zonic immediately wants to build upon that. Hey, lads, I'm sure it felt great. I'd like to see you win it with an AK.
Such a huge round, though. Like, they've now put Ence in a breaking point here financially. That means so much.
That's going to have Snappy gagged as well. You got to call a good CT side, man. That's a nasty death.
He was the opening death of that as well. So some big ramifications. The in-game leader overstepping the mark, and let's see if they can piece it back together here.
Okay, Zywoo's back on the AWP. We'll see if that T side AWP will actually feature, as there's some pace out of Magis, quick to try and take that B side of the map. Zywoo, once again, going to be trying to find something on this ramp side.
Yeah, you can see the evolution of the meta right here.
Oh my god, yeah, it has evolved, hasn't it?
Yeah, this util exchange just jostling for ramp control. Now, they will have heard Zywoo's scope below them, so they have a very good idea that he is prowling. Even more so now that he shot a couple of bullets. So the confirmation is there as the... Holy smoke. Instantaneous extinguish. They really don't want to allow Magis to think he has this B lobby for free. If you allow the B defaulter to just take that space, bully you out of wood, and then have full control, that's where you can get exploded upon.
So Spinks and Magisk have partnered up for this mid, as Dupree's making loud steps on his progress up the ramp.
Oh, some Pius wants to swing into this.
Oh, Flash is so good. Every time it catches Zywoo, they've got it calculated, they've got it dialed in nicely. But progress now for Vitality, they're up Crane. It's a big bit of real estate to hold on to, and this is an angle that can catch players off guard. Madden's positioned himself perfectly for this, and he is going to be overlooked. Even by the Woo. A nice find. Snappy as well onto Dupree, and Spinks through mid. This has to be multi-kill. Another there, and Spinks gets all 3, just as it looked like they'd had an
They have to go away with
advantage.
the bomb.
They do, and some Pisces AWP is here, but the smoke as well makes it awkward. They can plant safe, and should. Apex makes it.
Oh!
Off a couple of those. Couple of millimeters.
I think they have to save. You can't get back into this with both you coming ramp side. And we spoke about this being a breaking point round because they lost the eco in the previous. The money's not there. They might lose it all.
Spinks has given them an absolute lifeline. And there's a spot on Magisk as well. That was probably their only way to back into this one. You can see how stubborn they are about this. They really want to have a go. It's not the one. As Magisk, yep, comfortable. Takes Nertz out. Some Pius holding onto his AWP. If he can just get round the corner, looks like he's safe. And we'll have some distance between him, but Vitality are going to tie us all up.
I wonder if that close B play, right? We were talking about at the start of the round with the extinguish on the molly, because Magic immediately left B lobby, and they just went back and walked mid. If they have identified that Ence, when they play close B, are going to jostle for that position, and Nertz will likely be on the B side, because look how far out mid they got before they were detected, and then Spinks with a massive triple kill on this lurk out mid, because the round was done. He just resuscitated it out of nowhere. Out of nowhere. They had to have known that was a gap. They knew Spinks was still alive and still caught off guard. Right. So the hero right now...
Yeah, I mean, both of them. They're both here. And Ence have been playing an incredible game of Counter-Strike for it to be 12-12. But Zywoo and Spinks are both present and correct. Spinks has demonstrated that multiple times. This, no exception. That triple kill, catching CT, and immediately finding the double on that elevator position and avoiding that awkward team kill upon the double swing. So great control, masterful, dare I say it.
At least we're getting what we got last time round, right, in terms of the 16-14, right? It was a close game. We're getting what looks like it could be all of the rounds here as well. If Ence don't grab one back soon, that might change, and Vitality could just roll all over them here. But with the saved guns, they've been able to buy Nertz's favorite little MP7 there. He is a fan of that SMG, but that's telling of the times. As back in the winning ways, looking for 3 on the trot of their own here, Vitality.
Galloping quick. It's a T-smoke.
Such a scary lurk smoke to just walk behind as well. You can see that Molly trying to remove him from peeking behind through that gap. So Nertz is burrowed in now.
Comfortable. Trying to find a new way for Zyro to have the advantage against Sampius. A boosted position, hoping the AWP's not ready for it. But a deep re-smoke from Ence. And this is the flash on the go. No one's ahead of it. No one's disrespected our smoke. We have ramp control. This is the fight. This is what they've been waiting for. And Sampius very, very patient.
It looks like they're going to set up the molly for the stairs here. It shouldn't spill over to Nertz. You can see how far away he is. He'll be fine. The flash, though, that could be a problem.
Smoke makes it clear there's someone close, but the flash is enough to contain. No one's going to disrespect the smoke. You can spray through it, though. It's not a wall.
They should know just from the gun that it's Nertz here.
Right.
It's so classically his purchase.
A couple of bullets of MP7 heard, and upon the phase on the stairs.
How's he
Hard
gotten out of
fight.
that?
It's amazing that he is alive and kicking. Never mind with 69 HP still to thrive.
Time now, 25. They have to give B a go. It has to be the B finish here for Vitality.
God, there's so many resources about to be thrown into this one. And Nertz has given it up. Madden's still here. They know D has the B player. 2. They have to find it now. 14 seconds down to the flames. Another misfight. Apex has gotten them a chance to plant. It should be Spinks to get it in. Snappy and Sampius for a potential retake. Not comfortable. Apex does more damage and Nade as well. Good for it. And Vitality, they were feeling the highest, most maximum degree of pressure, time and otherwise, and still managed to leave with a round.
I wonder if they hunt here, try and take this AWP away, remove everything. You see them inching closer right now. Apex worming forward. Spinks not too far up behind, and Zyro's even head off towards A to make sure that he can't save. So Sampius might lose everything here. Lost bonus, only 2,400 into the next.
It's quite scary.
Yeah, it means it has to be an eco with Sampius maybe threading the needle here. They're definitely going to clear. They're definitely going to clear. As Apex rounds the corner, maybe into the back turned, and should have this one for free. That is the AWP removed. You can see what that means. Sonic with the tempered little celebrations there just behind the in-game leader, but that is a huge find. A jarring force of the big green, the sniper removed from play. Not possible. And this, on the site, there's moments it could go either way. They stalled them out really efficiently in 2 different occasions there as well. Just not able to connect the kills, and Ence now left wondering what could have been.
Well, that is going to put them on the economical concentration stations for Vitality. They know that this is, it's just turned on its head a little for Ence. It felt like the momentum was on their side. Now the winds are changing.
Yeah, they were just confirming that it was that full buy. So with the pendulum swing of that economy, they know exactly what they're up against here, or more than likely is it will just be some very, very light investments here. No Kevlar, no nades, just a couple of pistols upgraded in. Nertz can't even treat himself. That's how down in the dumps he is. And if this game finishes with Vitality picking up an eco victory with Apex finding a couple of P250 kills, that is going to be a sour note for Ence to spend their evening.
And on the other side of the coin, an incredible one for Vitality to celebrate, to come into tomorrow with 1 best of 3 away from the top 8. Unless if Ence can find the ability for another one of these pistol rounds. Dupree so lucky to get away from that, and Apex does catch the hunt. Matt is healthy enough to have a go and nearly snaps into the final frag as he's all been... Look at their health. Ow, and look at his. That leaves a mark. That does damage. 8 HP off the back of a single HE. Apex will collect, and happy with that. A triple kill on the anti-eco actually puts him nice and sandwiched in the middle of that scoreboard now.
Okay, well.
14, dude, this is going to be a big one.
Just 2 more rounds now for Vitality, and it feels like it's coming. It feels like it's just around the corner here, doesn't it? They've broken through, and it has been the Zyro and Spinks show throughout. Look at them, top of of the scoreboard, 25-23. Nertz has been doing his best to hang with the big boys, 21 on the other side of the server. The other Vitality members have had to
Oh, let's see that initial utility. Boards, hamper smoke locks out the access to short, unless you want a grey screen.
This is what he was up to, wasn't it?
It is a Dupree
Crawl on the ramp, head-to-head with Madden.
He's been getting a little bit hard done by. I think he might have been spotted. Yet. Oh, a hard headshot. Dupree unable to prevail and extinguish an attempted wall bang. But look at the cavalry. They're here already. Messy spray, both blind. And it's Nertz that gets his vision and fragging back to order quickly. But still on the hunt. Oh, Spinks has caught Pius, but not going to clear. Not going to clear. A free frag for Nertz. Gets away with murder. ZywOo has the bomb, but it's ZywOo and Spinks. Chad, strap in.
Well, they know Nertz was over towards A here. So likely just D-Hub B now that Pius is dead in middle. Plenty of time on the clock. This seems to be the constant conversation for Vitality. They always feel like they have a lot of time to work with here. And the two players you'd love alive. Now, with D-Hub, he does take the gamble, right? We see this time and time again, understanding mid and B are both pressure points for him. But now that Nertz has come across, the good graces will allow him to flirt with the idea of defending his bomb site. A smoke and a molly, but you'd want to get as close as possible here. And they don't know this flank is coming.
The silent
bold
but
push
deadly.
from Snappy.
Stunning.
Oh!
Fashion! No! He gave him a chance!
Oh,
and now they take it all! He had him on his screen, and now Nertz can redeem a one-on-one. Looking to give Ence a new breath of life, a little bit of breathing room, but he's up against the Woo. She's got a good timing on this one. ZywOo's going to overlook it, and Nertz clutches up for Ence. He says play on. Sharp as attack, 4K in the round, Nertz. He keeps Ence's hopes and dreams alive. That was 15. That would have been a condemnation of this best of one. And with a straight face, he stays straight-laced and keeps it all afloat.
Yeah, bailed Snappy out there, didn't he? In a big way. So Snappy with that mare on the miss. If you're going to take a shot at the king, you got to make sure you connect, don't you? And that little signal of the gun getting thrown as ZywOo is changing. So it helps Nertz track him down in that cat and mouse game. There, you can see Snappy frustrated himself there. He knows that it was fortunate for them to get that one done. Yeah, there it is. Thank you for saving my ass. Because that's when you go back as a unit and you watch it in the VOD review and you're like, well, what else could we have done there, boss? And Snappy knows that that was his fumble.
I mean, we've had a couple both ways now, yeah. Saved by Nertz this time.
It's 4 from 4 in the timeout department. So
last chance for Zonic.
And this is the thing. You want to, because you win this round right now, you put Ence back where they started. It'll be another bad buy with the middle of the road loss bonus. It's a horrible place to be on the CT side. It hasn't mounted completely because of the nature of how these rounds have unfolded. Again, they have to operate with low utility, with an SMG on Snappy. So this is Ence going up against it here, the hometown heroes.
And it's going to be Madden going for an early biff and braving the spray into that smoke on ramp side. Trying hard and connects on the spray. It could be two as he brings down Snappy. Just like that, a two-man advantage emerges. Is it really Nertz? Does he have the capacity for two back-to-back? Molly denies his crawl for info. And Bloodshed, one of them. The Danes needed to find him. Nertz is kicking open two as Apex will post a third. High impact from the IGL. And D-Hub, yeah, okay, at least he's here. At least he's here. ZywOo to plant, he's out of action for a second. That's Spinks down and out. Maybe D-Hub's got something to say. Nade, not quite on the money. Looking for ZywOo, spotted out short side. And considering the other one close to the smoke, he hasn't considered they're both outside now. An interesting smoke from ZywOo. He's the one that has to investigate a quad kill out of Apex 415. That is a response, and an impressive one. That wallbang onto Madden is going to get the blood boiling.
Considering how the game started for Apex, I think he was like 2-9 or 2-7 at one point in this game. He was having a really rough go at things, giving up constant opening duels. He grabs two. He pulls two out of his back pocket. He gets two wallbang frags as well. One onto Nerds right there, and that opener that we saw onto Madden. Some massive stuff from the in-game leader, who's now in the conversation of the 20s. Brought himself up in the fragging department in a big way.
Just the silent shaking of the hands from Zonic always gives me a little chuckle. Of course, it's not a laughing matter for Ence at all. Okay, last time out, yeah, everyone's used it. Oh, I love this. This is Counter-Strike right now. We've got every round. It's all up for debate. They've used every timeout. Like, both of these teams being pushed to their absolute maxim.
And this here is where Ence need their individuals to do miraculous plays, because they don't have a single advantage in this next round. Not a single advantage. You have 3 players using SMGs, 1 player on a CZ75, and Nerds, with the good graces, getting himself into the M4. And he's been finding impact nokes. He's been doing his best, 27 in total for him. Tied with Zyro on the other side. But he needs someone else on Ence to step up and chip him. Maybe a double kill. Maybe just one and done to give them a chance.
Yeah, and already a sour taste in Madden's mouth as a HE chunks him down. And utility arriving, so Nerds is already pulled out of middle. Spinks cautious for any kind of YOLO plays.
I do like this end here from Vitality. When you know that they're broken in their buy, you don't even know what it's going to resemble. You don't know what the purchase is. You don't know how desperate they are, especially a team like Ence who loves to push the issue and get in your face. So at least spend the first, 30, 40 seconds of the round seeing if they're aggressive, set up in a default spread, and will apparently congregate over towards B.
Just don't release crouch D, huh? Nerds makes it really clear that...
Doesn't have any armor, does D, huh? So yeah, he would go kaput, I think.
This one does seem like a well-timed smoke, trying to channel them. Oh, look at his options. He's got nothing. Has to just sit in the open and eat flashbangs, and there's not a lot of fun to be had. As Sunpius will find one on his utility. Apex caught on the mantle, traded by D. Look at the damage on that MP7 as Zywu wants to end it here. Can Snappy find one on the flank? It's to be checked. It's Spinks, and he does take down his former leader. All onto Madden. Can he extend play? They have to plant. But 15 seconds before that's compulsory. Smoke's going to make it a whole lot safer. A fake. Expecting the fight, and there you have it. Vitality picking it up and staying undefeated. As you can see what it means to the Frenchman in particular, there is so much at stake. Apex, he made it clear. He said it's going to be a crazy major. I have no doubt about that, but I need, not want, need to be a part of that. And so far, so good. A good day in the office.
And that man was a part of 2 of the crazy rounds as part of this Vitality close. With the P250, 2 impactful rounds, an eco to get this ball rolling for Vitality to find the close. The later stages of 4K, multiple kills through the walls. It's the Zyro and Spink show, but Apex was definitely here to throw his hat in the ring. So happy, stunned like a mullet right there. A moment to take the headset off in a game that Ence feel like they should and could have won goes against them.
No doubt about it, Chad. You got both pistols, and still, like, you don't manage to find a single pistol, excuse me, from Ence's perspective. But all of that considered, and it's 1 round game. Like, it's that bloody close. Incredible achievement for Vitality. They'll be very happy with that, I'm sure. But for Ence, it's ifs, buts, maybes. James is going to get some more.
Ence's first loss in the Blast TV Paris major, and it's sort of devastating when you watch it just because holy hell, they are playing out of their skin. They really took it to Vitality, Pimp.
It's a legit loss in the sense that was a very, very competitive game. That was a game that could have gone both ways. We'll obviously walk over it, but there were a couple of crucial rounds that should have gone the way of Ence and probably would have meant they had a better chance of winning the game. So if you have to lose a game, I think there's no shaming losing to Vitality, who's playing very, very well at the moment.
They did lose to Vitality, and we're going to talk lots about Ence. But before we do that, I think let's catch up with Dupree. He's with Banks right now.
Now, Dupree, you've just been telling me you feel like a little bit old. Are you getting too old for this now? You feel a little bit stressed?
I'm not getting too old, but I can definitely feel that when you get into these close games, best of ones, knowing how much is on stake, it's a little bit, it gets a little bit on your nerves, but yeah, it's nice.
You guys handled it well, though, and you had such great starts, especially here, but it even got close. I'm looking around, there was a 12-10, for example, and they had the chance to get that epic round against you guys, get a 13-10 lead, but you pull it off with the deagle at the end. Moments like that was what it was crucial here. How much of the small details was important in this game?
I mean, of course, the details when you play these games, when we get so close, winning the clutches and pulling off individual things like that is very key, and it was not only me. I mean, it was like we took turns on doing it, and I think that is what is needed to win these type of games. And right now I'm just really happy that we're done with the best of ones, because I think that is what everyone hates when they come to the majors and the RMRs, that you play the best of ones and you know how much is on the stake. And we had a talk before coming to the games today that there is a real possibility that we can go 0-2. We can also go 2-0 and 1-1. There's just a lot on the line.
Well, you did manage to go 2-0, and that must feel really great, right? Take off some of that relief for you guys. But every team here feels really deadly right now. You had 2 incredibly tough games either way, right? Now going into your final setup, do you feel like you've done enough? Do you feel like you guys are in the right form to do this?
I think that as of right now, yeah, of course, I'm really happy with the performance. Knowing that we've clinched the best of one, going in and having 3 shots now at making the playoffs should be doable. Even with a sloppy performance here and there, we have 3 shots, and we cannot let that one go. So I'm confident for our performance today, and I'm happy that we have 3 shots. And now we just need to win 1 more, because I really want to play in that arena.
And as someone who has mastered the majors over and over again, you are the historical major player. How much does this one mean to you to do it again?
I mean, it would mean the world. I already accomplished attending them all. Winning my 5th would be like the cherry on top of the icing. So I'm not like. It sounds weird to say I'm aiming for it because it's an individual goal in some sense. It's like a bonus for me if the team gets the win and if Vitality gets the win. So of course that's a huge bonus in some way. But I'm just taking 1 game at a time, because I know how tough the competition is and how much that everyone is working for it. Everyone wants it as much. So I'm not going to jinx anything. I'm just going to keep my focus on 1 game at a time.
Smart man, spoken like a true champion. Dupree, thank you very much. Sam, back to you.
The only player to attend every single CSGO major and compete in it. Let's get back into the game though, Maui, because it was such a fun one. What did you think of that matchup?
Well, I've really felt like it looked like in the first half that Ence did a great job on their T side. But one thing that I think was a big difference maker is that when Vitality were on the CT side, if we really want to rewind it, every time they lost information, they didn't really too often just play on their heels, just play back. They wanted to retake space. The amount of times that I saw them re-aggressing ramp in the mid-round, people like Spinks pushing on forward, finding out that, oh, but Ence left. Like, they went silent and they left to actually take that fight to them. That was really impressive, and I think that with that kind of mid-rounding, with that kind of confidence, you can see why Vitality were able to win this one, because they were able to rotate so much quicker, and that allows people like Zywoo, of course, to do so much more damage, because all this guy needs to do is be in the generally right vicinity of the action, and he's going to deliver a multi-frag.
Zywoo, obviously the superstar, we're seeing him here. He is having these moments game after game. Can he keep it up all the way to the arena, Pim?
Yeah, he can, because he's been doing it all year long. He's been doing it throughout his entire career. I think the worst placement he's ever had on the HLTV top 20 player of the year is 2nd. That's how goddamn good and consistent he is. People seem to forget that when we speak about the GOATs of Counter-Strike. It's low-key not Zywoo's fault, the fact that he was born a little bit later than Simple, that he wasn't turning pro as young as Simple, but the fact of the matter is that this man is en route right now to become the best player of the year once more, or I guess half the year we have in CSGO. And yes, of course he can continue to deliver this performance. This is what Vitality have built up for, right? Zywoo is your star player, but the support cast around him is always starting to show up. We have Spinks playing well, you have Apex turning up on the fracking department as well. So there's so many positive signs coming out of Vitality right now that it genuinely make me happy.
I'm glad that you're happy, Pump.
Me too.
I like it when you're happy. 2-0 up, that's where Vitality is. They need 1 more win and they're going to the arena. We are going to continue with all the action right after this. Beautiful scenes of the sun setting in Paris, which none of us have seen because we're inside watching all the Counter-Strike, and it is hot in here. I am having the best time. I know my desk is having the best time as well because we have seen some cracker games. And now we get to watch Furia versus NIP. And Maui Furia did not have a very good start to their major this morning.
No, of course they did not. Losing to Monty in pretty convincing fashion, 16-7. That is not what you want from a team that has been consistently making the playoffs of majors, for having also, in my eyes, the best rifler of the year in Quesarado. To not see him in the A-Core arena, that to me would be a massive shame. And for Furia, I think that they fully expect that they will find themselves in the playoffs.
I agree with that sentiment. I would be a little bit sad if I don't get to see Quesarado inside that arena. We also just saw the stats of the Furia players, and the only one delivering was Art. So I'm almost willing to write that off as a one-off for Furia, because there's no way that's going to replicate itself, right? There's no way that Yuri is going to have the second worst showing of his entire career on LAN in another game. There's no way Quesarado is going to have a quiet game like he had in the first one. So how much of that was just Furia having a one-off, and how much is that Furia not coming into this major prepared? I think that's what we have to figure out now.
But it is also a normal Furia thing. They start off quite slow. They're like a very slow train, and then they speed up, and then eventually they're just railroading everyone.
Yeah, that's usually the case for Furia. I feel like they always play themselves better throughout into the tournament, but I am a little bit worried. The fashion they lost into Monty was not good at all. They looked very shell-shocked, and they looked very lackluster, more or less.
They were losing fights to Monty that I just felt were so uncharacteristic. Yeah. I saw Safe missing shots. I saw Yuri missing shots, obviously. Even Quesarado, who I'm still sticking to as the best rifler of the year, was missing shots. Like it's not supposed to be that easy for Monty to just win gunfights. Frequently, what in my eyes were just 50-50 ones too.
On the other side, we have NIP. They have been, I would say, like hot and cold throughout, but they're here. They're at the legend stage, so it's working for them.
I guess the storyline for NIP has been us saying they're trending upwards, but they're only trending upwards because of the fact that they put themselves so low coming into the tournament. The beginning of the year was abysmal for NIP, so it is a team that is getting better and better, but I think we're also seeing their limitations. Them losing to Fnatic, that was my game, you know, where I was looking at it thinking, if NIP can win against Fnatic, we can start to have the conversation whether or not they're ready to contend for playoff. But losing to Fnatic, I don't really believe in NIP anymore, and they shouldn't be winning against a team like Furia, but who knows?
I'm curious to hear what their coach thinks about all of this. I do believe that Banks is with them right now, so let's hear from him.
DJL, at the end of EPL, you were saying that you wanted to put a bit more of your identity and idea into the tactical side of the team, right? So I wanted to see how much of that now is coming across when you're looking at the T-sides that Lexi's calling, and what balance you found coming into the major.
No, but I mean, I think we have done that. I think like the style we had with the like Swedish old roster, I would say, more like reactionary and like, how do you say, like playing more with each other and trying to find the gaps. But I mean, for sure, like we still have a little bit of both Alexis style, and I mean, I don't want him to lose his identity. So yeah, definitely we have both of the sides now.
Okay, and in terms of that, right, looking at Nuke and the previous game we played against Fnatic, it hadn't looked good for Fnatic overall, right, in recent time, but you yourselves hadn't played it in an official capacity that recently. What do you feel went wrong for you guys? Because CT side was where we expect you guys to be able to pull that back and take the win.
I mean, we've been practicing it a lot, even though we haven't like showed it, and I think it's one of our strongest maps for sure, so we were very confident. But I mean, if you don't talk and you don't communicate, it's very hard, you know.
This isn't the first time you've said that to me, mate. How is that still happening?
I don't know, like we just get into some weird energy, and yeah, I mean, then we don't talk too good. So it's still something we're working on, and I mean, we know that, well, like we literally are trying to figure it out, and yeah, we will just try to do it.
You are, though, right, the loudest man on that team for sure. Who is supposed to be able to pick him out when you can't talk, when you can't help out in that situation? Who can bring him back to life?
But I think Config is one of us. I mean, of course, like it sucks for me that I can't be helping them with the energy and all that. So yeah, that's just how it is. But I think Config is doing a good job.
Now, Furia, this is going to be an interesting one because you guys haven't played in a long time, especially with these two rosters together right now and what you have. How much of this is going to come down to your mid rounds and what you need from individual important rounds where it's going to be the clutch situations because of this new style that Furia is throwing in with a bit of their old style mixed in? How do you even deal with that?
I mean, they still play very aggressive, and I would say that like we watch the preparation, and I can kind of feel that they don't change too much. They just play their own style, and they hope it's gonna work. But I mean, it's gonna be a very tough game. We have to be like ready from the start. They're very aggressive in your faces, and also I think we will have to be playing very good like X on X situations, because it's gonna be a lot of those.
Let's hope that communication, let's see all those situations are on point for you. DJL, thank you very much, man.
We've seen the map pick. We are going to nuke. Also, we heard there from the coach talking about Furia's new style and how that's going to impact NIP. I want to wrap this up really quickly. How do you think this game's going to go, Pimp?
I think it's going to be a close game, actually. I think NIP is competitive enough to buy Furia in for a dance. Whether or not Furia is going to, leave us with a better impression, it can only get better, so to speak. So I believe in Furia will bounce back. We did see NIP struggle on their CT side against Fnatic in the round matchup in the first one. So I hope they've fixed some of those mistakes as well, fixed some of those issues. Config had a terrible T side as well, and I think, as DDL said, he's the talisman for them. When Config is playing well, when he's filled with energy, then NIP is much, much better.
I imagine that NIP are going to have a good talk after their most recent loss to Fnatic, and they're going to right the wrongs in terms of just energy, in terms of vibe. But Furia, they're no slouches either. They've just beaten FaZe on this map in Rio, and so I think this is going to be an incredibly close one. I'm slightly edging it towards NIP, but just by the slimmest of margins.
Interesting decision there. Both of these teams have suffered a loss. Let's see whose fortune changes.
We shall indeed. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I was just wondering why there's a FaZe clan spray in Spawn. Like, one of these guys is voted for FaZe, I guess.
Well, Furia also starts with an F.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Maybe they want to give a bit of an FU over to NIP right now.
Sure thing. Yeah, we'll see if it's an FU or if it's more of a, hey guys, you can have a little bit of a motivating win. NIP, I love the interview from DJL.
Okay,
I have to
you like honesty.
I'm a sucker for honesty, and he never hesitates to be honest and to say it how it is. The fact that James, he does poke and probe and say like, dude, you've said that before.
Yeah.
How does it keep happening? And of course, the extra caveat of during the major circuit, coaches are tamed. I would say, you can't be jumping for joy. There is a rule set in place. You must be very quiet with your celebrations, and understandably so, given the past. Let's go. Furia taken to this defensive start. NIP to bring the attack on Nuke. I do love a Nuke. Nuke best of one, though. Not the most common of maps, but saying that we've seen it a couple of times today.
Yeah, a little bit risque, isn't it? But DJL saying he has expectations to be a lot of, mid-round scenarios, clutch scenarios here. So they're going to need to have some of those go their way.
My eyes are on Yuri, by the way.
Yeah.
Got to see more out of him.
It wasn't just him. The entire team bar Art didn't show up, and that's a goosh immediately down to 3.
Oh, and yeah, Yuri has started off beautifully. Head Trick and Config meet their end, and now the bomb's gone down, but that's about all they have to celebrate. Look at this from Yuri. He's got more. He's got more. Oh, had a chance. Doesn't need to do much more. He's done the distraction, and a third headshot for good measure. Look how low they were. 3 players brought down to a scrap of HP. Doesn't matter.
Brawler must have been naughty. He was the one tasked with buying utility on the pistol round. So, yeah, what have you been up to, Brolin? What have you done to get Alexi making you buy the util, mate? But either way, a couple of crackers there from Yuri. And yeah, he did have tied for his worst performance of all time. That's that opening matchup. But to be fair, Safe was missing the broadside of a barn. Quesarado wasn't himself. Drop was, and it was just really Art who was fragging. But I do like the changes that Fury have made on their CT side, one of which is putting Art over towards ramp. It means that he can't just be rotating around consistently, and he might even get to farm up here with this AUG in hand. Good weapon for the job, up against a full eco.
Perfect, in fact. And it is a pure eco.
Config looked very serious there on top of Silo. He's only got a Glock in his hands. I don't know how much he really thinks he's going to get done here, but looking for aggression. And they're going to kick off their gun rounds into round number 3, which was similarly how it started against Fnatic, which was their opening jaunt.
Yeah, an iconic head-to-head.
Yeah, on this very map as well.
NIP Fnatic, I mean...
No longer the Swedish derby, is it?
Yeah, in terms of a head-to-head at the major, certainly has a history.
That was the grand final of the first.
Bam. Art gets himself all of the necessary frags required, and it's just that config Glock last piece. Okay, well, not many casualties for Furia so far. Yeah, 0. That is the very best case.
Of not many.
Not
many,
not.
if any.
If any at all. as we are ready for that gun round into the third, as you've prophesized. What do we get with these AKs? It's time to get an early taste of what Alexi B is going to be bringing to this T side. There's a reason we find ourselves here. And with Furia kind of lagging, of course, with both teams here in that 0-1 column, but Monty making quick work of them on Ancient.
Yeah, they kind of just rolled over on Ancient, it felt like. Monty's, yeah, and now they're sitting 2-0 with their victory. So great stuff for Monty as we got the odds on screen here, favoring the Brazilians. The only Brazilians we have in the top 16. Payne didn't quite make it.
Yeah, so the pride of Brazil.
Saw something there.
Yeah, got that org and does great start with it. Takes and mows down Brolin. And Yuri, you can see he's already found one. And over the top of that red smoke, looking for the response, but he doesn't quite find lethality. Forces Yuri into a defensive smoke. And now Warehouse and Secret are up for debate.
Yeah, you've already dealt with the two of the most aggressive, potent riflers on NIP here. So Config and Brolin both being dead within the early stages of this round. It'll be very difficult to be able to put this together in a 3-on-5. They sure have the secret cross for head trick. Young Ukrainian here, he's separated from the pack and has been spotted now as well. Safe doesn't need to re-engage. That information is more than enough, and he's also tickled him down to about 48 points of health here. So Furia can just lock this one down. They don't need to do anything too crazy. You don't need to push for that lobby info that we would see on a map like Nuke. They can just sit back and deal with what comes their way, because time is going to start to become a bigger problem for NIP. Seconds. Nothing really gained here. And gonna be a save. Nah, come on, give it a crack, boys. Yeah. I jinxed it.
Ay, caramba! And another as well. Hold on. It's this position, hard to clear, and still only the one. Rez has given him something to say, and now he's singing 3 from Rez, and they will get the bomb down. That's a very solid recovery out of Rez in the absence of the other stars. It's Rez to step up, they step out, and that will feel sensational for Rez as he immediately saves NIP. First gun round, down in the dumps, and rectified. He's laughing all the way to the bank.
I'm sure Config just had a couple of words there to G him up.
That's a great shot.
Banger of a shot on the safe here. Alexi finding Yuri was great. It opened the door. Drop only gets one. Once he's identified, he's dealt with. But Rez just keeps on shooting. And a big round for him to get fired up. You get Rez off the leash. He is going to be an absolute monster here. And Config's going to fire him up. So that's who you want to be getting loud early. Woof. All right. Don't see Rez getting fired like that.
No, you really don't. And you got to enjoy it when you see it. Just like those blue moons. Okay. Where did Rez go?
He was still celebrating the previous round, I think, already. Dead. And this is an interesting round here. They started nobody ramp. Furia started nobody ramp. They actually had Art come in through main and then drop down Ven, and Safe's actually cheated over here.
Interesting. I guess when you've had the org seen there twice in the first 2 rounds, you're going to be hoping that it's respected.
It's going to be one of like the only main org players that we have, I would say. Art, he loves it on Nuke.
Yeah, he's applied his trade nicely to start as well. 4 kills so far from the IGL. And we're going to be seeing exactly how far this opening kill from Furia can be in order to regain control.
Well, apparently NIP have no issues until waiting to the last 20 seconds and then just Rez shooting everybody. Now, someone else will have to do their best Rez cosplay. It won't be Config.
Not this time. Good catch on that warehouse fight. Head trick and Yuri duking it out. Not a necessary commitment given the advantage, a 2-man advantage. Do they really have the chance of recovering again? Short-lived celebrations for the Ninjas. Safe gets that bomb loose. Alexi at least finds himself an AK-47, but that's about all he has to celebrate. Bomb needs to be scooped up.
I feel this is how the last round should have gone, but it was about this time I started saying, yeah, they're going to say, and then the kills started coming. So how many more of those, Alexi? Quick, teleport.
No, yeah, I think you would have to have some sort of intervention from a higher power to get that bomb down with the time available. And so, yeah, Furia are going to be very happy with this one. It doesn't have to be the most glorious. Everyone's provided a frag. You can see double out of Yuri. Safe will be the one we saw as well. And shell-shocked NIP staring off with that 1,000-yard stare. This is the Rez death. You can see he's just feeling great. White screen, dead Swede. Okay. And that is a fantastic return to form. You can see the frustrations were bubbling after that recovered round from the Ninjas, but right back to their winning ways are Furia. And Yuri to thank as well. We talked about him as being one to watch. His, well, tied for worst performance in his career in their opening game.
This is a very early timeout here from NIP. Only going into round number 5. Maybe they just want to discuss a little bit of how the cash stacks up with these saved guns. DJL feeling the need to have this conversation.